at his feet, a medium of artistic expression that was unlike any other. To watch Maradona play football was to sit on the...
And then to defeat Uruguay, and what it means to beat them. Then came England, and an even bigger meaning to beat them as well.
It was a comparison between Maradona, Pele and Messi, because I have always said that Maradona, for me, had a higher level than Messi.
¿Qué te viene a la cabeza?
And jersey is very special for us. Because when you talk about number 10, Maradona's name comes first. We want to be...
Remember the hand of God in the England match in the 1986 World Cup. Now, in my country, the hand of God...
This is Diego Maradona, a footballer, a rebel, a genius, an icon, and perhaps the most emotional figure the game has ever produced. Some players are remembered because they won. Others are remembered because they entertained. But Maradona became something bigger. He became mythology. He became a story passed from one generation to another. A player whose name could start arguments, create memories, and unite entire nations. And when footballers were asked about Diego Maradona, something interesting happened. The statistics disappeared. The tactics disappeared. The language changed. Players spoke about feelings, about magic, about disbelief, about witnessing things they could not explain. Because Maradona was never simply about football. He was about imagination. For millions of people, he represented possibility. The kid from Villa Fiorito who climbed to the very top of the world. The player who carried dreams on his shoulders. The genius who played as though pressure did not exist. And yet, pressure followed him everywhere. At Barcelona, at Napoli, at the World Cup, at every stadium that expected miracles. Most players break under that weight. Maradona demanded more.
In my lifetime that I would see anyone come remotely close to Diego in terms of ability with a football. I think we've seen Messi who's very...
Gary Lineker once said that Maradona was the greatest player he had ever shared a pitch with. Think about that. Lineker played against world-class footballers throughout his career. But the memory that remained strongest was Diego. Because some players defeat you, Maradona overwhelmed your understanding of what football could be. Football legends often struggle to describe genius. They search for technical explanations. They mention vision, balance, control, decision-making, but eventually they arrive at the same conclusion. He was different. Platini admired many players, yet when discussing Diego, admiration became wonder. Maradona possessed an unusual relationship with the football itself. The ball looked attached to him. Defenders knew where he intended to go. They simply could not stop him. Center of gravity allowed him to move through impossible spaces. Every touch created another possibility. Every movement forced defenders into panic. And perhaps that was his greatest gift. He made world-class professionals feel helpless.
Tipo contratante tenga una prueba de que es capaz de adaptarse a esto.
O sea, yo vengo y soy el presidente del...
Valdano often spoke about Diego as a player capable of changing reality. That sounds dramatic, but football fans understand exactly what he meant. Because Maradona could transform an entire atmosphere within seconds. One touch, one pass, one acceleration, everything changed. The stadium changed. The energy changed. Belief changed. That is not ordinary greatness. That is influence. That is power. And players noticed it immediately. Even opponents. Especially opponents. The ultimate measure of greatness is respect from rivals. Friends are expected to praise you. Supporters are expected to love you. But enemies? Enemies tell the truth.
Maradona is there with his cigar in his mouth, right? And he's big, he's really big at the time. It's towards the end and they're practicing free kicks. And so
Lothar Matthäus knew exactly how difficult the assignment was. Follow Diego. Stay close. Never allow him space. Simple instructions.
Impossible exécution.
Because Maradona needed almost nothing. Half a meter. One mistake. One moment. That was enough. players who faced him repeatedly often shared the same emotion. Exhaustion, not merely physical exhaustion, mental exhaustion, the constant awareness that danger could arrive at any second. Gary Lineker famously described the experience as playing against a genius. And genius creates fear, not because it is aggressive, but because it is unpredictable. You cannot prepare for imagination. You cannot coach against inspiration. And Maradona embodied both.
Que muchos no era importante, pero para nosotros sí, porque como jugador.
At Napoli, teammates experienced something extraordinary. They watched one man elevate an entire city. This was not a traditional football power. This was a club fighting history itself. Then Diego arrived. Everything changed. Titles followed. Belief followed. Identity followed. Napoli did not simply gain a footballer. They gained a symbol, and teammates never forgot it. Every generation creates one impossible question. Who was the greatest? Pele?
Maradona?
Messi?
Cristiano Ronaldo?
Different eras, different circumstances, different answers. But Maradona always remains in the conversation. Always.
Was just the most remarkable thing. It's the closest in my life that I've ever felt like I ought to applaud.
The relationship between Pele and Maradona included competition, respect, debate, and admiration, because legends understand something supporters sometimes forget. Greatness is not a limited resource. Acknowledging another giant does not diminish your own legacy.
A trial at Argentinos Juniors where we trained in the Parque Sabrera. And in the first session, I did pretty well. Scored a couple of goals. Enjoyed myself.
Then came new generations. Zidane, Ronaldinho, Messi, each carrying traces of Diego, each speaking about him with enormous respect.
Con la Champions siendo fundamental de octavo hacia adelante en todos los partidos y creo.
This was Diego Maradona, rebel, genius, immortal, a footballer who inspired teammates, terrified opponents, moved cities, and changed the game forever. His story was never simple, but greatness rarely is, and perhaps that is exactly why the world still talks about him. So now I want to ask you, when the conversation about football's greatest player begins, where does Diego Maradona rank for you? Tell me in the comments, and subscribe, because every legend has a story.